Hey, Rambo.
Hello, how are you doing? Are you doing all right?
I'm doing great. World War III treating me okay. A little exhausted by it all, to be honest.
Same.
Yes. Fatigue. I have battle fatigue from a fake war.
Yeah. And you can't escape it. So I could take a few days off,
Mm-hmm.
and even when you're seeing people in the street, they're talking about it. So you just can't.
Everyone, you can't get away from it.
No.
It's a new corona. We couldn't get away from corona, whether people were talking about their kids in school or the people that they knew or didn't know or with the hospitals being overwhelmed or getting their vaccine. It's like at every stage of the pandemic, there was a new conversation to be had, and it was just never ending. It was, and it was on the lips and tongues of every man, woman, and child in the whole entire world. Like, that's all they talked about was COVID for a stretch. And now that same phenomenon, which is just the captivation of an entire public, which is actually at a certain point, it could have been theoretically difficult to do, but actually they've been able to do it forever now that I'm really
Yeah, it's the
saying this out loud.
simulation, the
Yes.
reflection of the project again. That's what it seems to be. So I've not watched me telly. I've not kept up on it or anything. And
Right.
even random people in the gym are talking about it. And do you know what I mean? You just cannot escape it. So it's either be involved and look for
And it's
just
such
how fake it
casual
is.
conversation too. You can be talking about something completely different, and then all of a sudden, someone just slips in. Well, what do you think about Putin or Zelensky or is it Zelensky? Zelensky? I'm getting all these.
Zelensky, I think he's called.
Zelensky,
The actor,
Vladimir,
the real actor.
No, Volodymyr Zelensky. Yeah, the legitimate actor. So many people had pointed this out. He was first a comedian actor who played a president on TV. The president of the false territory of Ukraine, which is Russia. Russia and Ukraine are the same. It's the same place. It's this nebulous territory that's just given and taken away and given and taken away, and fake borders are drawn, and they're given a flag and given an identity. But and then now Russia's trying to take it back. It's like it was just a fake.
And he won
anyway.
the Dancing with the Stars as well. The dancing
he did
program.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, the president of this territory is a certified actor, entertainer. Perfect for the theater of war. Perfect, absolutely perfect for the starring role to be played by a legitimate. Okay, so his backstory is actor. Is he even real?
Probably not. And it's like wartime, or the real wartime president who played a wartime president. That's what I seen the other day. It's like, you can't make it up. They want us. I feel like they want us to know, but in this Twitter conspiracy kind of world, everyone knows it's all there's something wrong. But in the outside of that, everyone thinks it's real and are really scared of it.
Yeah, nuclear. They're getting into nuclear. We will do a sidebar on nuclear eventually, very soon. Maybe we should do a quick hit on nuclear.
Yeah.
Broad brushstrokes. I do not believe nuclear annihilation is a real threat to humanity. Nuclear technology is really just a catch-all term for a specific type for heating water to boil. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I'll really dive deep into it. But there's nothing dangerous about nuclear energy.
On the last episode, we'd all be dead already if it was real. And if this was this Putin and the Kim Jong-un and all this stuff are all crazy guys with the red buttons, we'd all be way gone long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing I've been popping up quite a lot is the Klitschko's are fighting in the war. The boxers. So the mayor of Kiev, as they keep calling it,
they've changed the name. They've changed the
the
pronunciation of the name. I actually heard a legitimate news broadcast addressing this because users, their listeners, were like, "You guys used to pronounce it this way, and why are you pronouncing it this way?" They actually had to address it because so many people were asking questions. The capital city of Ukraine has always been known, pronounced in the Western language as Kiev. Kiev, specifically, a very specific turning in the middle. Kiev. Now, all we hear is Kiev. But what I hear is key. I'm hearing a key. Like this is a key. This is a key that if we can understand right now, war is everything. War is Hollywood. War is technology. All of our greatest technological advances. Excuse me, early in the morning. Not that early. I've got a frog in my throat. All of our significant technological advances are usually in big air quotes in coordination and conjunction with some sort of like aeronautic defense or like we get a lot of our technology from like space exploration, which we don't really believe in, and like the planes, the wartime planes have the initial quote unquote technology, and then because we advance so far in war technology, that can roll out to consumer technology, and then we can have jetliners that we all get into. It's so okay. War shapes our lives in ways that we simply we're not able to comprehend how greatly it is. It shapes generations. Each generation seems to be shaped by their own specific set of wartime behaviors. We behave differently in war, and those behaviors the ripple effects are far, deep, and wide. And so the key here, the key here is to recognize that none of this is authentic or true. It's just simply not actually happening in the way that it is being presented. Yes, I do believe there are actual people going to what they believe is a real live battle site to do their duty and play in this, protect their country. But what they're experiencing is live action theater. They don't necessarily realize that the dangers feel real. It's like going to a haunted house. Like it feels really, really real. We know it's not real, but it feels real. Now imagine if you didn't know it wasn't real. Imagine going to a haunted house and thinking like everything was actually a true murderous threat. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like what you would go through? That is why soldiers have PTSD. And yes, soldiers do get injured in battle. But if you look into it, it's like because they're in car accidents and stuff. And then there's this whole category for friendly fire.
Training.
It's training. They get injured in training. They actually can harm themselves to a great degree through sometimes irresponsible behavior. Actually, like a staggering amount of soldier deaths are on base drunk driving accidents or coming to and from a base. Not when they're deployed, but when they're on base.
I got asked, where do you think all these refugees are coming from then? What are they escaping if it's not real? And they're escaping air raid sirens and just the theatre of it. They don't want to see what it could be. The bombings are
always off in the distance, and then the sirens. Our favorite newscaster, Lies Deceit, Liz Doucette. What's her name?
Lies Douchet or something.
Her name's like Liz Doucette. Les Doucette. Something. But
Les got us onto her, didn't he? But
yes,
he's popped up all over Ukraine, or he, should we say, is popping up all over Ukraine. I'd seen him last night talking with the exit sign right behind again. It's always there. But
the last time we saw Lies was months ago. And was it also with Ukraine there was a bombing of something. I cannot remember, but it wasn't related to this skirmish we're going through, this war games.
Well, here she is again.
Ago. But yeah, here she is again, reporting once again from the battlefield.
Something else that I'm noticing on the news is everything's blue and yellow, whether it be like when I seen her last night, she's wearing blue with just a yellow thing behind her. It's not just the news, everything.
You've been sending me a lot of stuff. Oh, and you just posted too about how the Super Bowl, the winner of the Super Bowl, the Rams, just happened to be blue and gold.
Yeah, Ukraine's, and you pointed out Snoop Dogg on that night had Ukraine's colors on as well.
It wasn't just Ukraine's colors. Snoop Dogg on the night of the Super Bowl, his little jazzy tracksuit with hyper blue tracksuit with gold applique. That was a traditionally Ukrainian style of dress. Like that was the patterning and printing was patterns and patterning that is stylistically Ukrainian, culturally.
I don't know whether I'm stretching here, but the Freemason compass is blue and gold as well.
Not stretching. I think we're full tilt. I think we're at full tilt. And if we really want to drill down,
these colours of the blue and yellow, I've seen a lot of people are pointing it out.
The golden sun.
Not, you said it's not just the news, it's on kind of everything at the minute. Yeah. And also in other news, if there is any at the minute, it's also in the background as that as well. Like I've seen a lot of stuff of like FIFA, the World Cup, people are kicking Russia out, they're kicking Russia out the Champions League, they're stopping sales of Russian vodka. It doesn't make any sense. And they've moved the Champions League final, which was due to be played in Russia, coincidentally, to France, to Paris. But that is a place you cannot get without being vaccinated.
Oh, interesting.
Little trick there.
That's a little jab, a little poke. But COVID's over. You know, they've declared COVID's over. War's in, COVID's out. Masks. Back to the nuclear thing, though. I was going to mention this, and I trailed off into my rant about something else, or continued rant about nuclear. But Biden had announced that you should wear if you encounter some sort of nuclear fallout, you should have a mask handy. You should have not a gas mask, not just
a medical mask,
just your COVID-19 handkerchief. Everybody, protect yourself. I do not believe, just to put a pin in that, the nuclear thing, we will get into it, but yeah, I just do not believe that there's a threat there at all to our health and safety. Chernobyl was a psyop. It's just strategic relocations of people. They just move people out, say something bad happened, and then then they destruct. Like 9/11. We've talked about this a million times. Yes, the towers came down, but everything else about it was fake. The reasons the tower came down, what let the minutes before the towers coming down, like everything surrounding any sort of narrative related to that. But at the end of the day, there was something real. When we say everything is fake, we don't mean everything is fake. We mean the overarching narratives are entirely false, are entirely unreal.
An illusionist show, like they show you.
Yeah, they're really doing stuff up there, but what we're seeing is not what they're doing.
What I've noticed as well, the videos that are coming out, they're like 30 seconds long max. Like, and people are taking that and running with it. That is real. You know, like they'll show you a building blow up, and a lot of these buildings blowing up that they're showing us on camera kind of look like those CGI clips I've posted in the past. Yeah. You know, like where it just doesn't look right. Do you know,
like, you've posted many times identical to explosions, CGI explosions that you.
We've talked about these short videos before, and we could link it to kind of like those short animal videos. How like the attention span it takes. It takes nothing, and people just believe it. You know, 30 seconds is maybe a bit too long.
And I would argue too that they usually choose a very specific cover thumbnail photo, like for the video, which encapsulates the entire. Usually it says like, "Don't watch this," you know. And it's like, "Oh, I gotta see it. What's it? What is it? I gotta see it." Yeah, I mean, talk about temptation. Talk about getting people to do something that they probably wouldn't have done. Is just tell them they can't do it, and boy, howdy, they let me click that. Let me click that.
Cluster bombs. It keeps going on. Russia are dropping banned cluster bombs. What's a banned bomb? Like, is it causing too much damage? I don't know. Like,
these bombs are so dangerous. Don't use those bombs. Yeah. These bombs, they're not like guys. They're not nothing
safer.
I don't believe in any casualties of war. I don't believe in any of the reported casualties. I don't believe soldiers are getting killed right now in Kiev.
I believe there's an empty town there. Like now, like you said, everyone's evacuated and they think they're escaping war. Like,
and yeah, train stations I'm sure are full of. But like I heard a lot of like reporting out of it. It was very calm. Still is calm. A ton of people stayed. So for every video that we're seeing that's like, oh, the war and bombs and explosions and direct missiles spew right from the sky, exploding like a movie. For every one of those, we are getting videos from actual city centers, from the places that this bombing is supposed to have taken place, but it's always on the outskirts of the city, just outside the city wall or just outside the city. Oh, on the horizon, you can see a smoke plume. It's really all it takes. But inside the places where people actually are, it's business as usual. This is the pandemic again. This is people at the grocery store during a deadly global pandemic. This is the equivalent with the videos of like the calm, cool, and collectedness. People that actually stayed. Some people are still like in the city center. It's fine. People are actually still going to work at this point. Like there's banal shops that are actually open.
And they're asking people like, oh, we need as many people as we can to come over and help.
Guys aren't allowed to
we'll
leave the
give you a
city.
gun.
But
now you're not allowed to fly there anyway. So like, it's a bit of a double bluff, isn't it? Like you can think like, you can go and help.
Men between, well, okay. Also, they're locking people down as well. Like, but they're like, so men can't, supposedly, if you're between 18 and 66, you can't leave Ukraine if you're a man, if you're a male, because you'd have to stay and fight. But there's all these loophole places to go where you can like just go here and then you're out of the country, you know, and it's just like.
Something my dad pointed out to me is, do you remember this Begum woman and she went over to fight and help the Taliban? And she was fake. I can't think of her name, something Begum, and she was in the news still as a terrorist.
Was she American or was she British?
I think she was British, and she flew over to help the Taliban. And he was saying, like, what's the difference in her going over to help someone who she's nothing to do with? And let's see if I get a name.
Bingham? Women who did, I don't know. What's her name? I can't find it. Oh, why this one? Nope.
I've seen you tweet a face out before as a fake face.
There's too many. There are too
Yeah, she still pops up in the news. I can't think of a proper name, but yeah, he pointed that out, and it's probably right. They're telling people to go over and help, but then when she went over and helped, he's a terrorist. It's like they're just everything's confused. But with these boxers I'm seeing, like, so there's Usyk, who's a world champion from Ukraine, Lomachenko, world champion from Ukraine, and these Klitschko brothers, both former world champions, and it's like got them all in the picture, like all going to fighting for their country. It's like, and he's like
MMA style war.
I actually met Vitaly Klitschko. I've got a picture.
Did you reach?
If I knew what I knew now.
Take off his mask? Did you try to reach over his?
We've been shown like boxing is kind of like WWE. We talked about it before. So and they're acting at the highest level. So like, why is he not just playing a mayor? It's the same as like Pacquiao. Is it Pacquiao, the boxer who's also going to be Prime Minister of Thailand? It's like they make them all kind of. They make them into something else. Do you know these?
Yeah. Schwarzenegger became governor of
California. Yes. And we've got the Ukrainian president is also an actor. It's like they're doing all they can to let us know. But I'm thinking
they're not pulling back the curtain. They're like fluffing the curtain so that we see.
Yeah, letting us know, like, look at us.
Like, look. You're on a theater stage. Look, here's the curtains. Like, you need to see how fake. Look, it's a stage. Look, these are actors. Look, these literally are actors on the stage. Look, can't you see? Can't you see that what you see on stage? Would it
be a good time now to bring in Blue Beam?
Aliens.
It'd be a good time to do it. That's a good way to stop the war. You know, say, we all need to come together and. I can see it. It's not out the question for me that at the minute. It seems like that is what we're being built up to. And at this point, anyone will believe it because what I don't get is...
And Elon like sent all those he's Starlink saving the day. Whatever, Elon. Yeah, right.
And is that the Wi-Fi? Like everything's blown up. Buildings are supposedly blown up. Oil's all destroyed. Everything's getting destroyed. But the Wi-Fi signal is fine.
Yeah, everything's essentially operating as normal. Like everything is fine. They probably just they probably just switched off one, switched on another, and said you're now on Starlink. Which whatever. It's just so manipulatable. I think all this again, technology comes in. Elon Musk, there's no coincidence that this Starlink project, which has been delayed, forever talked about but never done. It's no coincidence that during wartime, this technology is introduced. Technology couples with war. It's a really easy way for them to send us a new magic savior, which makes us think that this is how the world works. And like trick, it's a trick. All of it's an illusion.
It's a big illusion. That's how I kind of see it. And it's like what we've said before, like it's like an illusion, like David Blaine, for instance, when you go and see his kind of shows, you can leave there thinking, most people will leave there thinking they've just seen a real magic trick, and it's not. It's an illusion, you know.
Yeah.
And the screen is social media. If there was no social media, how would they be able to pull this off? With no TV and social media, we wouldn't know any difference.
They still would pull it off because they pulled off 9/11 just fine.
Yeah.
It's tailor-made. The deceptions are tailor-made for the technology of the day. The moon landing looked like it did because we were so used to seeing hokey shit through our little TVs. You know, like everything just looked kind of hokey back then. You look at old TV shows that are black and white, everything looks a little hokey. And what I believe is technology has always existed. Things just look old because they're designed that way, because we'll accept them as old if they are styled.
Camera footage is still pixelated, and people go, it's because it's compressed to put online, but that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And there is a real degradation. There's just glitches happening left and right. The glitches are becoming more and more frequent.
They released one. They even tell us they've been letting out old footage from like 2014, 2015 from training exercises and stuff. And there was
did you see the new 9/11 footage that just got released like a day ago or something? A couple of days ago?
No, I'll need to have a look at that.
It's I think Liz actually shared it with us. Or I think I saw it from her. But yeah, like some guy apparently has this footage, the clearest footage to date.
Oh, from another angle. Is it that
building
other?
2?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. So clear.
So clear, crystal clear, suspiciously clear. Oh my God, severe clear. That is what the sky was called on September 11th, 2001, in the flying area of Manhattan, New York City. It's actually there was 0 clouds in the sky, and that's actually a disorientating element for pilots when you're up at a certain altitude and there's no ability to orient and your entire sky is a crystal blue of the same shade. It happens in the morning time around 8:46 a.m. at this time, and it's a flying condition called severe clear. Anyway,
like, what do you think? I've been asked this what could you do to like protect your energy during this time?
Well, I'm kind of struggling with that. That's a good question. I can definitely feel myself being drained.
Same. Like we said, it's hard to skate. You can see it's fake. It's the thing of knowing it's
something else. Do something else.
Like go and walk the dog or whatever.
Anything else.
But it's one of those where, like we were saying at the beginning there, how you can't really escape it though, because people are, wherever you go, people are talking about it. So the best thing to do really is kind of just switch off for a bit and accept you feel you believe what you believe and
take a nice long bath.
Yeah.
Go play
the news has always been fake and it's now all of a sudden it's real. You know, even people that
I know
against COVID and stuff are now saying, well, they can't fake war. It's like, of course they can.
Of course they can. And they do. And they always will until we stop letting them, until we stop believing. Everything, I mean, a fundamental underlying principle, my foundational principle set is based on my understanding, my innate understanding that this whole thing is operated by our belief in it. The magic is powered by our belief.
Yeah.
Illusions are enabled by our belief. Without our when we know the trick, we're no longer fooled by the illusion. The power is rendered null. The
magic doesn't work.
Ceases to exist.
But with the majority believing, same with COVID and stuff, if the majority believes, it becomes reality, doesn't it? And at this minute in time, the majority are believing it. You know, that's what I'm kind of seeing around. It's like COVID doesn't get mentioned. And I done a tweet on it the other day. People who were like, oh, I know someone who died of COVID and that. Now they're like, oh, my family lives in Ukraine. I've got relatives in Ukraine. I've had so many people saying that to me. Like, I know someone who's in Ukraine. Like, of course you do. Mm-hmm. You knew someone in 9/11. You know someone who got COVID. You know someone who lives in Ukraine. Of course you do. It's like, it's a program that to be part of it, isn't it? Like, maybe everybody's an actor. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's kind of playing a part.
Yeah, that's one thought. I also think normal people, without being super conscious the total reality, I think some people lie. But
Yeah,
like
they
believe
lie
the lie. They make it
yeah.
up. They simply make it up, but they believe it and they protect it. And it's not a lie. It's to them. I don't know how to really explain it. It becomes something else. It's no longer a lie. It's something that they will viciously defend. They will believe it to be true, even though they know it's not true. They just can't see it as a lie. It's just something they hold on
Because
to.
people are dying, supposedly. When they use like sensitive things like, oh, there's so many people, 33 people have just died from a bomb or whatever. People protect that you can't say that they didn't die. Do you know?
Right.
That's what I think it is. It's that emotional attachment to like
Same
death
with
and
Corona.
stuff. Do you know?
I mean, Rambo. This was the same with Corona. People knew people who died, but what went unsaid is people die all the time. Deaths are not up from Corona. People are dying of things that are not Corona. You know, like.
Yeah. And over there now, imagine in Ukraine now, someone just had a car crash. That's going down as a war death.
Yeah, as they were trying to flee, a refugee attempting to flee dies in a horrible crash. Putin, blood is on your hands.
I seen one where it said this soldier, put on a vest and blown himself up on a Ukrainian bridge to stop Russia being able to get in. And the picture and video, I nearly posted it, but I don't think people get it. The picture of the bridge in the video, it was just like Call of Duty, the computer game. Honestly, it was like, it wasn't real. I don't believe it was real. And I think when you look at those computer games and wartime computer games, they're so realistic if you've ever seen them played. I think that's all on purpose. It's all by design for times like now, and you can't then differentiate it just looks so real in the game that it just looks real on TV, do you know?
Conditioning our minds to accept, if we are shown this is war, this is war, this is war, over and over and over an adolescence into adulthood with people that play these games. I mean, think of all those touch points and reinforcements that this is war, this is war, this is war, and this is what war looks like essentially. Yeah, it's a video game, but it gets more and more hyper-realistic, as we push forward. That conditions us. That conditions the mind to when we see war through our screens, which is how we're used to seeing war. Yeah. We're like, oh yeah, that's it. That's definitely war. I'm very familiar with that, Whereas me and other people, I see it as looking very fake. I mean, you and me, like when we look at that, we see the video game element. We don't see, that's war.
Like the agenda of why they're trying to show you that bit for the fear. Like they're showing you like the fearful, the bit, just a little clip to be fearful. But yeah, it's like something's broken. Like for us, the magic is broken. You can see it is CGI. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can just see it, and it's like that uncanny valley effect again. You get it inside you that isn't real,
right?
And
they're telling us too, though, with this war, real quick. Like they're using language, not real. Mainstream news is using language like false flag.
Yeah,
they're. In that it's happening, like that false flags, that Putin is staging false flags, XYZ. When the use of that term, false flag, they would have never said that before.
Boris said it as well. He's doing false flags. Yeah. It's like...
Oh, speaking of false flag, real quick, one of our amazing patrons, Abby, she sent me this, let me pull it up. She sent me... this shout out to Abby. She sends me amazing stuff all day long, but she sent me this picture. It says, in pictures, Ukraine and the global response. And there's a bombed out car. It's like the car we always talk about, you and me, Rambo, that specific bombed out car that looks like it was picked up from a junk lot. Yeah, exactly. Just severely bombed out, severely burned. Everything else seems to be like relatively, like it's always way more severe than anything else. And there's this magenta flag hanging next to the Ukrainian flag, and she was very aware that flags, pink, magenta, the color magenta, and purple, anything in the purple category is pretty much off limits for territorial flag making. It's just not one of the colors that there's of hundreds of territorial flags in history and in today. There are only two or three that incorporate the color pink or purple. One's Turks and Caicos. Actually, it's just one. I think it's just Turks and Caicos. And then of course, the LGBT, that flag. But there's this but she was like, it's a false flag. They're literally showing us the fact that they're hanging. There's like a magenta flag.
Good link.
Yep. The fact that there's a magenta flag, and I'll post this picture because it's really remarkable. But the fact that there's a magenta flag hanging next to the Ukrainian flag in front of this governmental building, which appears, in City Hall, the City Hall, Kharkiv City Hall, damaged by selling from Russian troops, blah blah blah, March 1. And yeah, they have a magenta flag hanging off the City Hall, and that is just a no-no. It's a false flag. They only reserve that color. That color.
Well, I'm kind of expecting some tomorrow as well. 3rd of the 3rd.
Yeah. Oh.
3-3.
Yeah. 3-3. Oh man, 33.
If it is, it's just too obvious,
Yeah.
But it's like, for me now, it's like at first I was having fun with it, and then it's just like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was having a lot of fun the other day,
Me
and
too.
then now it's like.
Me too. Let's get off war. We'll just do a quick change of thing. I think that's the best thing. We said that earlier. Let's do something else. If there's one thing, if it's bringing you down, let's do something else. Let's talk about the listener queue. We asked people what was on their mind right now, kind of other than war. Because I was definitely feeling like I want to talk about something else. But we got a ton of cool responses. Did you see that?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top. Let's talk about these. Let's do some quick things on these topics, because Rambo, you posted it earlier. There is a real fatigue. There's a real emotional, psychological drain that. It's a pulling. It's like a vortex coming out. Our energy is being pulled by all this media we're taking in from our eyes. So let's just rest our brains from war for a second. How about that? Sounds nice. Okay, Joey Williams says, "Have you guys ever discussed flat Earth?" I say yes. We have discussed it, but not super in depth. We haven't done a deep dive on flat Earth, have we? Like a special.
No, we've done bits where we think the Earth's bigger than we were told it is, and how we can only travel to where we're kind of allowed to buy tickets for and stuff like that. But with the flat Earth kind of thing, I can see, obviously, I believe that it's not a globe, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't flat either.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's like the vax and anti-vax, the flat Earth and globe Earth are both pushed the same.
Yep. They only give us two. They're polar opposites of each other. We can't meet in the middle. What I believe about the shape of the Earth is, I agree with you. It's not what they tell us it is, but theoretically, I believe a flat plane. I believe we could be on a flat plane, a planet, like a gridded realm, and that grid, that plane can be fitted to the physics, the applied physics of whatever that world is.
I just believe it's a lot bigger, and I've also looked into that crater Earth theory. Have you ever seen that? The crater Earth.
Oh, where
it's
the
like
moon
a crater on the moon is just our patch of Earth, and there's still all that bit undiscovered. Which obviously the people running the show obviously know that exists.
Yeah, something's up. I think we can't travel, to what you said. We can only travel certain places. We can only buy tickets to certain. I think it's highly likely that we don't really know what's out there. We don't know where we are, what we're on. Because to date,
that's just how they like it.
That's just how they like it. And we can't independently verify. There's observational things that we can make, and observationally, it does not seem like we're on a spinning ball.
Nothing adds up with it, does it?
No, nothing adds up. So observationally, there's something up. But we also, I can't verify. I can't go up there, and so it creates a real conundrum, because we get put in the position where we have to believe. Again, it's powered by our belief. They need belief. Belief is
because once you
is the gem. Our belief in anything is
That's it. And they always give you something to like a space for it, gives you something to like get your imagination going. And once you start imagining what it could be like, you can then just start to believe in taking bits from what they've told us and think, oh, that's what it is. And that's where the flat earth side comes from. You know what I mean?
And I think if we are on back to the applied physics, like if the applied physics are spherical, if we believe in like gravity and like if you think of all the physics rules physics today is based on ball earth, spherical earth, and space, right? And we believe that. And so that maybe that's how it is. Maybe our belief, because we believe it's round, it's round. Or maybe if enough people believed it was flat, it could be flat. Like
they use the globe as a symbol too many times in the background of stuff, Universal Studios, everything is the globe. But then now that when you see flat earth documentaries coming on Netflix and stuff, which there is, it kind of, it's a red flag for me. Yeah. Netflix, anything that pops up on Netflix, because that is just like where we say a movie is to program you, that is like a prolonged programming because you're watching
flat
series.
Earth requires outer space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't believe in outer space as we've been taught and told. I simply do not. I believe it is entirely a Disney production. Everything we've ever seen, everything we've ever learned, everything we've ever been told about outer space.
I'm more inclined to believe there is a dome of some sort.
Yeah, some sort of... It doesn't have to be physical.
Why would they fake it? Like, why do they fake it if they can just go out there? Do you know?
I think if you back to the kind of the Masonic principles, you brought that up earlier with the colors, but one of the main tenets of Masonry, of Freemasonry, is this concept of circling the square, or squaring the circle. I'm sorry, squaring the circle. So like and I would love someone to help me explain this on like how the Freemasons think it, because I don't really understand totally what they explain it to be. But if you look at it visually, it's a circle, and around that circle is a square. So like a circle perfectly fitted inside of a square. And I think that if you were to think about our ability as a human being to observe the observable space around us, like what we can see, if you stood in the middle and you looked around, like you have a max distance that you can see. The world just ceases to exist past a certain point. And if you look up, if you look all around, if you're in a place where there's like, clear horizon all around, you can really get the sensation that it is like a dome,
I feel like I can see kind of a top in a bend. Yeah,
it's like all around you is the circular, like perfect. There's appearing no sharp angles. What appears, the angles are gone. So it's like, but it like if you look all around you, it looks like a perfect circular situation around you, and up it seems to come together at like a perfect dome. The sky looks like a planetarium. It really does. There's something about it. There's some, and then if you think about that as it's
one of them things you can never really prove. It's one of them things that is down to like an individual belief, the flat Earth kind of theory, isn't it? It's what you. I'm at the point where I just think that we're in a tiny bit. I feel like we're a lot closer to each other than we all think we are.
Yeah, I don't think the world's that big. Yes.
No.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Me too.
But whether it's flat, it's not. I don't believe it's a spinning ball, but who knows? It's just not what we're told.
I like it. That's perfect. Joey, that's we'll get into it.
Oh yeah,
maybe more
shout out to Joey.
Yeah,
I went out for a beer with him the other night.
That's right. Okay, that's
and
right.
Jack, his friend. He brought his friend.
So Rambo and Joey met IRL in jolly old London town or whatever.
Oh, in Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah. Come to my local town, the local pub on the corner. Yeah, we went to a few pubs and into the town centre.
Had a few pubs.
Beers. Yeah, I had a good time.
That's so fun to meet people in real life, like to meet, especially patrons. We've had I've had the pleasure. It's cool. It's a cool experience because it's like it makes it more. Not that it's not real. Through these digital, because the connections are absolutely real and very tangible, but there is something, it's like you do it. You know, it's like we are. I'm not alone. There's other.
That's it, yeah. And you know what? The
students out there.
conversation was just great. It was just great to speak with people that think like that, and there's nothing that's too much. You know, like I can speak. My friends know I talk about this, like, but they're always like, no. And it's just like they're just open to everything. You know, it was a good. We had a good chat.
That's great. I love hearing that. Yay! Shout out to Joey, his friend Jack. That sounds fun. I hope you guys do it again. And maybe one day we can have like a USA. Either I'm going to London or I'm going to UK, or you're coming to USA, and we'll try to get. I would love to do that in the future.
Definitely.
Like maybe next year or something. We'll have enough. We'll have the world will open up, and anyway, blah blah blah. Well, that's for the future. Let's all imagine that, and it'll happen. Okay. So BoomTube said, what do y'all think is the purpose of social media challenges? Are they truly organic, or are they data harvests to advance AI and the digital panopticon? Wow.
So like the water bucket challenge, remember that when it was like tipping water?
Yes, I do. That was exactly what I was thinking in my head, the water bucket. Yeah. What do you think, Rambo?
I think it's like to show that people will just follow what they're told is cool. They will follow trends, and some of those it only takes a celebrity. So again, it's showing celebrity influence to do it. Like there's a lot of footballers doing it and stuff over here. The next thing you know, everyone's doing it, and it's just like anything. You kind of can spread it just through a little 2-minute video. They can make anything cool, and it's showing. Like I don't like to say the word sheep, but to show how people can be just herded together and do the same thing, give the same mentality to
go through the exact same motions, do the exact same thing.
And it could be that, like you've talked about before, TikTok and stuff being used to kind of mimic human movements. There could be a big part to that as well. You know, Snapchat, your face and your body, TikTok. It's kind of a lot.
What I think is so interesting about TikTok is it's not about human movements. It's about having humans do unnaturally designed motions too, like the little dances and stuff. Like, okay, remember the backpack kid that did flossing? Yeah. I don't believe he was real. I do not believe that he was an actual real kid, and I kind of did a Twitter deep dive on that. Like, he's CGI. He's Project Neon. There is not a real backpack kid. That guy that invented, quote unquote, the flossing move, that dance that every kid does. But it's actually pretty unnatural. Like, it's kind of like an unnatural way to move the human body. There's a reason no dance has ever looked like that before. It's a kind of unnatural penduluming. It's hard to get the swing of. Literally, it's hard.
I can do the floss.
I bet you can, Rambo. I haven't. I haven't.
But a lot of these, like now, they use TikTok to get these challenges out there, don't you? Like it's kids who start them, then the parents join in, and it's just like
all the humans doing the same motion,
same thing,
same motion.
Could even link it to COVID. These challenges, you know.
The dancing nurses. Remember?
They've got dancing soldiers in Ukraine on TikTok at the minute. I don't know if they're real or not. Well, probably not. I don't believe. When I see like a lot of TikTok videos being shared, I don't believe most of them are real. I don't believe any of the viral ones are real, but like, that's how they get you with TikTok, because we can use it. We can upload videos and stuff, but would it go viral as in like everyone copying what you've just done?
I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
I think that has to come from the top, come from the architects, like the people that want us doing these things, and then we'll follow suit. And then through influencers, which I believe a great significant number of these big influencers, I think they're all characters.
Fake, those digital people, I believe.
Yep, and we're none the wiser. And so this gets spread out from a single source, disseminated through multiple, like very bright points, you know, and I say bright, I mean light that is cast far and wide. And by that, you know, they're having a lot of followers. And once it gets ushered out through these few influencers that aren't even real, then it does trickle down, not even trickle down, it floods us. It floods our collective conscious.
Nothing's actually viral until they say in a headline, viral challenge
video.
And then then it's viral. Everyone wants a piece of it. Do you know what I mean? It's
love it.
Same with TV shows. Viral TV shows are only viral once the headline says it's viral, and
they're only
wants
viral
to watch
once
it.
The media shares it across every platform that that touches our eyeballs, you know, like,
That's
oh, viral. Yeah. Great question, Boom Tube. Lehman says, I'd love to hear your thoughts about spiritual practices that you two have employed to help clear your energy up to enrich your lives. So what do we do to get all this bad juju out and to...
Silence. I think silence is the key to it. Like I meditate, and I kind of have days where I don't even look at social media, don't do anything. And that is the days where I do like to do me like kind of meditating. And it's just the silence of the mind, I think, is my power for that. Yeah, the stillness. There's nothing external coming in, and I don't know what's even going on in the world other than my own mind. That's kind of how I do it.
Yep, I love that. I don't meditate like a formal meditation, but I do a lot of meditative practices where I let like things that like I like to. One of the things I do every day is I take a bath. I have a bath in my a bathtub, and I just, instead of taking showers, I just like to take these days. I just like to take like these luxurious baths, and I'll be in the bathtub for like an hour every night. And for me, that's a time when I can just let my mind go blank, and I can really like get to my, I can focus on I can be in my senses. Sometimes I read, but sometimes I just stare at the water. Like the water reflects up at the ceiling, and I'll look up at the ceiling and watch the patterns of water on the ceiling, and I'll look down. And what I've noticed about the reflections of water on the ceiling, reflections of water in general, and this is something that I think applies to life, is you can't see the patterning. You can't see the beautiful pattern of water until it has reached a state of stillness. Because like once I first get in the bath, the water's like going all here and there, and before it settles, like there's really no cool pattern that I'm looking up on the wall. It's just like a kind of a foggy light, you know. It's just like kind of I can see things moving, but I can't see any of those cool, like what we understand to be like those beautiful water patterns, you know. And I think there's something about that. I think that in stillness, if we allow stillness within our bodies and within our minds, and we invite that and encourage that, I think we can see more clearly. I think it can like still all the frenetic energy and noise and everything that's swirling and whirling within our bodies and within our minds. That kind of goes away. And
it gives you a refreshed lot of thoughts. I feel like when you've like had that stillness, like my mind kind of comes back refreshed, you know, and it's like my body's telling me when I'm ready to like kind of get involved in it all again, you know.
I know. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You're right. Whenever I take time off, I'm like, I am back and I am ready to rock. Yeah.
Like with this war thing, I was loving it at first. Honestly, I was, but now it's kind of like, bring the aliens already, will you? Bring on the aliens. I'm ready for them.
Let me see what else. I think this is an important question.
Mushrooms. When you have music on with them, like kind of relaxing music, they work a whole lot better. I've had it where it didn't do anything, and as soon as I put the music on, it's just like, where am I? You know, like,
I'll have to take that into consideration.
The music makes a big difference to the experience, I feel, and the whole of everything you see kind of moves with the music. And it goes off and cuts to an advert or something, so I don't pay for Spotify. But yeah, say it kind of stops. It's a weird one. But I feel like with mushrooms, I feel like I've had some good experiences of them recently as well, and they kind of still your mind. You come back refreshed from that as well. Like people, they have a bad. Growing up, they always had a bad kind of image to them, like, oh, this is what will happen if you can. Bad things can happen in you, and I feel like I can't see how it could be a bad thing. I'm at the point where I can't see how they could go wrong.
Right.
Obviously, in moderation. Like, it's not something I would do every day, but just every now and again.
I'd be scared of an acid-based psychedelic, because you really can fry your mind.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Mushrooms
those
aren't. Yeah, mushrooms aren't.
You can grow them yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna grow my own myself. And
don't they grow best on poop?
Yeah, so they say. Yeah, you can grow them in these little tubs and stuff. I've been speaking to the guy who I've got mine, just telling me how to do it, and may as well have a go. I'm going to try it myself. It's just like it is a medicine when people say, "Oh, it's."
Yeah, it can reset your. It can
It
reset your.
feels like like a reset. It feels like it resets your mind and body and soul. Really, that's how I could describe what it's like when they do work for you. You know,
I do
definitely
believe
have
human
music.
beings have a reset button, just like every piece of advanced electronics that we're familiar with. Like back to again, I think we're bioorganic machinery. I think we're computers. I don't compare myself to the hunk of metal on my desk. They just tell us that's a computer so that we think that's a computer. But we're computers. We are
We're the
advanced
computers,
computation.
yeah.
Computers compute. What do we do? Compute all day long. Every process in our body is.
And that's why they're always trying to reprogram us all the time.
Yeah, and I think there are some resets, and mushrooms are one of them. And I love hearing your stories about it. I can't wait to experience it for myself. Yeah.
Definitely an experience and something like I wouldn't ever say to someone, I'll take this. It's definitely, if you haven't ever tried them, they're worth a try, because especially when I feel like if I would have took them 5 years ago, I wouldn't have the experience I've had with them now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like I was ready for them now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like they're trying to show you. It's like your mind is trying to show you something. You know, that's how I kind of describe to myself. But if a few years ago, like I know people that used to take them to go to nightclubs and stuff, I wouldn't be doing that. You know, like,
ooh,
and I'm just glad that I never got pulled into that back in the day. You know, and it was like the time was right to do it when I did it.
Yeah, I definitely. That's one thing. You know, I'm not a prude. I like marijuana, but I'm very thankful that I never got pulled in. I was probably my proximity was very close to a lot of probably dangerous experiences with drugs, but I'm very, very thankful that the temptation the temptation and the situations were never aligned in a way that I'm into. But with psychedelics, you know, and that was really never even on my radar. I didn't really know anybody doing psychedelics, but now I do feel for the first time in my life that I am ready. Even at the beginning of HV, I don't think I was ready for it because I was so raw in it. I was in the thick of it, like looking at in every direction. I was seeing new stuff with the fakery and everything. But now I think that I've settled into like my frame of mind, my framework in a way that I feel pretty solid in it, and I want to experience a psychedelic state within this solid framework. I think I'm ready. Yeah. Ooh, great question, Lehman. One other quick thing about how to improve your day-to-day existence is be very aware of the energy that you are bringing into any situation. If you're having a shitty day, every situation you find yourself in will be shitty. And also, so be very aware of how the energy that you put in is the energy that you're going to receive back. And I think, and you can really change your world by changing your energy. The other thing is, this is something that was a big part of my revelation in life: is don't let any false words pass your lips. Just don't do it. Don't even do it in small talk. Just if it's not true, don't say it. And for me, within my work, I work in advertising, and I do a lot of client management and creative management, and I'm like a filter between the clients, and I'm a filter between a lot of parties. A lot of information comes through me, and I have to filter it out. A lot of times, I would like manipulate the phrasing to deflect, like if something went wrong in the process, instead of just saying, hey, here's exactly what happened, and being completely just entirely transparent. I was taught that what you do, that's not what you do. What you do is you mitigate. You mitigate everything. You make it so the client has no idea the real process going on. You make it so the creatives have no idea that the client's freaking out about that they don't like it. They think it's shit. Clients can never know, or creatives can never know that. Clients can never know what's really happening, like what's really going on with the financials and Like there's so much. That was when I worked at a big agency. I no longer work at a big agency, but I carried a lot of those deflections, essentially corporate lies, or just even the way I would phrase things in emails. Like, I would spend a lot of time like, does this sound right? Does this sound right? That's the wrong question. It's either the way it is or not. And I have found that when I fall on my sword, if I fuck up or something fucks up that is directly adjacent to me, like at my hand, I just say so immediately now, and everything's okay. Everything is okay. All of this, like, everyone knows, everyone's on the same page. I never go like, oh no, this could get me, oh, I hope this. I never even have that worry anymore. Because I just make everything as transparent as possible. Like, I don't think we understand how often we lie as human beings, because we're just even when we're like talking to our friends, I mean, it's like we're talking, we're pretending to like what they like, or pretending to be as into something, or pretending to know something, or pretend. That's a lie. It's not hurting anybody, but it's hurting you. I
agree. And you can shape yourself into that without realizing. You become one of them. Like, it's like growing up, innit? When you're like into, like you say, they're into stuff, like into.
And we teach our kids not to lie, but then we tell them Santa Claus is bringing their presents. Yeah. There's something about it. There's something, and I think because of that, because I think that when we introduce falseness into our world, that it's like it's negative. Like, we're diminishing the experience. I think that there is like a black magic that's occurring. I think that there's, and we don't have to be aware. We don't have to be aware of it, but it's happening, I believe. And when we lead with only the truth and only the truth that within us, I think that is like not bonus points, but points up in the game, leveling up instead of leveling down or losing points.
Just being yourself, it just makes you different, doesn't it? It makes you like, some people try to be different, they try too hard to like be different and be part of a group that is, they know that they're different, them or whatever. But if you're just yourself, you're this different as you can be to anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
That's a form of truth as well. That's a form of truth as well. Like, just living in truth changes your world. And it sounds kind of, it can sound corny, but the truth truly can set you free. And I'm not saying everybody's out here lying and cheating on their taxes and murdering and covering it up. I'm not suggesting, it's not that at all. That's what they want you to think lying is. That's what they want you to think lying is. But lying is anything that's going against what you believe to be true. I lived a lie I was in a relationship that did not, I knew that I was not happy in it, but I was like, well, it's such a beautiful life. I just gotta live it, even though it wasn't my truth. And that kind of, it
drains your energy, doesn't it?
Yes. And
it really does.
It took, God, the background energy, the background RAM that took up, anyway. So if it doesn't feel aligned, if your head and your heart are not in alignment, if your words are not aligned with your beliefs, and your beliefs are not aligned with your actions, you are out of alignment, and you're living in a state of untruth with yourself. And everybody has their own truth. I'm gonna say that. Like, there is a truth with a capital T. I think that there are some governing truths, but I think that we, like, just like you said, being yourself, we all have our own. You can. It's
that not really caring about being judged on what you believe either.
Yeah,
so that's a big thing
morality,
as well. People
getting outside of the bounds of morality as well. Morality is a construct. I think there's some golden rules, talking about truth with capital T. I think, thou shalt not murder or whatever. I think that but I don't think humans really do that. I think that they show us a much worse version of ourselves through the news, but we are not out there killing our brother like they tell us we are. Like, I think murder rates in cities are always inflated by a factor, an X factor that is mind blowing. I think that it just doesn't happen, and I don't think we do the thing. I don't think that we cause each other these great harms on the I don't know.
Like they want us to believe that it's not as bad as the world isn't as bad as they want us to think it is.
Bad things do happen, but it's usually very close to home. It's usually someone you know, and it's not. It's not like these vast numbers of unknown faces and parties that we get, that we see on the news all the times. I think just like the population numbers, I don't believe the world is as big as they say and as populated as they say. And I also don't believe like the deaths are as plentiful as they say. Because if we really had that many people and we died at a constant rate that we do, I think we need way more cemeteries, don't you? Like, yeah. I think all the land would be a cemetery. We would just cover the
Very
land.
True. It's a good way of looking at it.
It's not just 8 billion at one point. It's 8 billion constantly. 8 billion people are dying as well. Like,
you're right there. There should be cemeteries everywhere.
Everywhere. And somehow cemeteries only go back to like the 1700s.
Yeah, that's it. We don't know why.
And they keep finding people earlier and earlier. Like they just found an Alaskan hominid or something that was like 10,000 years old, and he's supposedly like the oldest. They keep finding us earlier and earlier. It's like we didn't get to the United States until X. It's like, well, I don't believe that the United States actually existed before. Like at this whole narrative, this whole historical narrative, I think starts more like in the 1800s, and we kind of showed up. But like, if there truly were people roaming the United States 10,000 years ago, we'd be finding these bodies left and right. You wouldn't be able to kick a rock without unearthing a bone.
Yeah, you're right.
Speaking of
dug
that,
up my whole back garden, didn't see a single body. Yeah, didn't find a dinosaur or a skeleton or anything, and I dug down pretty deep.
That is
there should have been loads out there, shouldn't there?
Should have been. Wouldn't that be funny if you had like a dinosaur excavation? Like you found dinosaur bones in your property, or what if you like pretended to? Because it's just as fake as everything else. What if like we acquired like a fake dinosaur bone, and we were like, I don't know. Oh, they just said that there's a big hubbub in the scientific community because now apparently there's 3 different types of Tyrannosaurus Rex, of T-Rex instead of just one, and there's like. That's threatening the visual of like, well, what does T-Rex look like now? And it's just like, y'all, there's not even one. There's not even one T-Rex. Let's stop fracturing this lie. Let's just understand there's not even one T-Rex to begin with. It's all a lie.
A lie. The big lie.
Big lie. Space and dinosaurs. They want us looking up and out for answers and way back in time for answers instead of right now, right here, within ourselves. That's the last place they want us looking.
Love that.
Don't look there. Look up in space. Well, this is a good one. We didn't get through all the questions, but I think we can touch the rest of them next time. So
yeah, definitely.
So if you guys I'm gonna leave this listener queue up. If you want to ask some more questions for next episode, because me and Rambo might do a quick hit before our next full episode. But keep adding to this list, and we'll get through them. I think this is a really fun. I love these. I love this break from the war. Yeah, we didn't even get to the State of the Union talk, did we? Everyone was standing up and sitting down and clapping like little monkeys. Oh my God.
Like a challenge.
Yes, it was kind of like a challenge, like a TikTok challenge. It really did. Very strange. All right, Rambo, well, we'll talk soon. This was
Take care.
As always, take care.
Hey, Rambo, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rambo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.